Hey everybody, welcome to a Fiberific live craft and chat. We're in a different location, so everything is off. I feel like I have to whisper. There's no one else here. I don't need to whisper, but the room is really echoey, and so it's off-putting to me. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me, if you can see me. You guys know the drill. I've got an alternative audio source, so if it's terrible, you need to tell me. Yeah, so right, I'm just having a look here. I just need to bring my phone over and I forgot to set the stream up, so make sure all the audio is down. That's terrifying, isn't it? Let me have a look here. YouTube studio. No, that's not what I want. I want to go somewhere else. So let's have a look here. So hello, everything is working. Oh, thank you guys. Such a relief. I was beginning to think that it wasn't working. Hello, they're not there yet. Okay. So Kelly says everything's working. Can you all see all the things? I'm just going to double check here. I should have checked here first, but I didn't because I'm frazzled. That's why, frazzled. Let me have a look here. Because this morning I realized as I was setting all this up that I did not pack a microphone for the computer. I've got one for my camera, but it doesn't work on the computer. So I was just like, oh, gosh, what are the chances? What are the chances? Make sure the volume is down there. Excellent. Oh, good. That is working. Okay. All right, you're loving the pink light. Yes, I may have brought that bit from home. Their light's not pink here in this little place. I was trying to bring as much with me as I could, obviously, except for a microphone. So I am on the Sunshine Coast. I'm getting ready. Today is this afternoon I'll be bumping in the stall for the Fiberific stall up at the Crochet Guild Australia conference. So that is a bit exciting. Lots of our regulars will be on the road, so they may not make it into the stream. Now, in my frazzledness, I may not have shared out the link. So if you guys could pretty please share out the link to any groups that you think might be interested, and include the Fiberific Fun Zone, because, you know, I haven't done it. So I'm just going to have to take a sip of my coffee. Now that I know everything's running, my blood pressure is dropping, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I didn't start the day off the greatest, you guys, because last night I went shopping with one of my roommates, Claire, Bob Wilson 123. She's not here, otherwise she would be here. And we were just shopping, we were just grabbing some bits and bobs, and I grabbed some coffee bags because I'm not the biggest fan of instant coffee. And so I thought I'll grab some coffee bags and, you know, we'll go from there. I go to make myself a coffee this morning and realized I bought decaffeinated coffee bags. So I'm just a bit like, oh. So luckily this Airbnb does supply coffee. I'm not sure what it is. It's caffeinated. That's all I can tell you. Good morning, Gail. Good morning to Joss. I've just remembered that I am on StreamYard, so I can bring up everybody's things. Good morning from Gretchen. Hey, Gretchen, how are you going? And good morning, Joss. So today I'm like hyper aware of the time. So we're only going to be able to run a short chat today, just because normally I would run till midday, but I need to be at the venue at midday starting to unload my car, which is packed to the roof. I'll try and put a photo of it up on Instagram later on. It's literally packed to the roof, except at the moment it looks like it's ridiculously packed because the whole front seat area is empty. And that's because that's where all my luggage and stuff was. And so, you know, we got to the accommodation and I emptied out my luggage, and then there was room for Claire, so we could go for a drive. So yesterday afternoon I took her down to Alex Headland, which is a beautiful spot. So if you saw on YouTube the community post I posted this morning, you'll see that I posted a photo of the beach, and that's where we sat and had a chat and just breathed in the beautiful sea air. Gosh, I miss sea air. I don't get anywhere I live. I'm too far away from the beach. Do any of you guys get to like breathe the good fresh sea air because I miss it so much. And every time I come here, it's just like you're breathing in home, because I grew up on the ocean. So I'm just like not on the ocean, next to the ocean. So yeah, so I'm just like, oh my gosh. Now, I only have this camera, okay, because I'm set up on a little stool. The laptop's on a stool to get it to a decent height, and so there's nothing to clamp a second camera to. And even if I could, this software doesn't run a good second camera, and on my little basic laptop that can't do all the things like my big one I live stream from. Holly Alderson, you are so lucky. You live about 5 minutes from the beach. Do you know what though? What's funny though? I'm like, oh, I love the beach. I love the beach. I love looking at the beach. I don't actually like going in the water. Gail Smith wanted to thank you all for helping me with the crocheting, doing samples now and the next project. That is awesome. Freaky says that sounds precarious, but you do what you got to. It's not so precarious. Like the whole laptop is seated on the stool. There's no dangle. Well, there is a little, like that much dangling over. And it's the front keyboard end. It's not the back end with all the weight. I probably could move it, but I'm not going to. I'm just not. So yeah, but I've got a spindle here, and I could try and spindle some and like hold it here, because I can lean back. Like I've got room. I'm sitting right on the edge of the couch here. So I'm gonna have some coffee, and you guys let me know if you want me to spindle. I like looking at the ocean, but I hate the sand. Yeah, absolutely. And you'll see from the photo, I was still up on the boardwalk. I didn't actually get down onto the beach yesterday. But I like walking on the wet sand. I don't like the dry sand, because my knees like get a bit like, oh, this is super hard work. It's already hard enough. So Freaky says, so not in the shop today. The shop is not set up yet. We go in after midday today, and then we're allowed to set the shop up. Kim will be arriving around then. That's why she's not here, because she is hopefully by now, fingers crossed, on the road on her way up. Oops, hang on. Lindsay says, last week was fun, and I may definitely have a spindle and some sheeps coming tomorrow. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And Kelly says, I'm looking forward to getting there so I can walk on the beach and get my feet a bit wet. Absolutely. I get you with the dry sand. Yeah, well, see, I live in Stradbroke Island, which is a sand dune island, and you have to like walk for ages over the dunes before you can actually get to the water. And I don't think I could do it now, honestly. Like as a kid, I just did it. I was like, I want to go and swim. And now I know better, and I know what shark skin feels like, because I've been too close to sharks on multiple occasions, and I do not like going into the shark home anymore. Freaky says, with them coming, that means, oh gosh, seriously, I don't have my glasses on. Oh, Freaky. Oh, you got me. You win. Freaky wins the internet today. So I've got a medium glider here with just some beautiful fluff. Couldn't tell you what it is. It feels like merino. It's just a random, it feels very soft. It's actually, it could be merino silk blend. It's got some shine to it. I don't know. Look, I've used it before in a stream. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but yeah. I was watching a YouTube video, as I want to do, about a lady, and I was watching a TikTok, funnily enough, and there's a lady on there who I follow whose name I can't remember. I'll have to look her up. And she spindles a lot on TikTok. And she does the whole fluff wrapped around the wrist thing. And, you know, people are like, oh, how do you do that? I'd love to see it. And then she was just like, oh, you know, sometimes it's too hot and so I don't spin. And I'm thinking, why don't you just grab less fluff and then spin with less fluff? Because wouldn't that help? So, yeah. Good morning, Stacey. No, I didn't say it, Freaky. I caught myself just before. Oh, my gosh. Doesn't matter. Flashed it up on screen. So, yeah. So a lot of the local ladies are traveling getting ready to come up for the Crochet Guild event that we've got happening up here, starting today if you are in the Teach the Teachers program, or tomorrow if you're in a standard like a not the Teachers Teacher program workshop. The Teach the Teachers have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days full of workshops to run through. They've got a lot of information they have to take in while they're here. Yeah, it's you know, one of those things. So this afternoon I get to go up and set my stall up. Kimmy will arrive, and then we'll come back here. And I still haven't actually added. Whoops! Quickly get that wound on. Hang on, am I going the right way? Yes. You're teaching people to be teachers' pets. No, we're teaching people to be teachers, so they can teach crochet classes. Some of them already do teach crochet classes and just want a, you know, certification sort of thing, or just, you know, a run through. Like, I know that I will go through and do classes, not because I don't know how to do it, but because I want to learn another way to talk about it, or to work, you know, explain it to people, or, you know, I especially like, and this, I say this to you guys all the time, you guys know this, that when it comes to learning how to do something, you might struggle with it from one person because of how they describe it, but another person could describe the exact same process, but how they word it is different, and so that they can learn it. So I like to attend different workshops on the same topic, or not so much a topic, but on the same skill, and just see if it's different, you know. Hey, Box Elf, welcome to the chat, honey. Are you coming up for the Crochet Guild thing? I can't remember if you said you were or not. I don't know if you're working. Is this audio bearable, you guys, honestly? I couldn't do a listen back. So I don't know if it's terrible. If it's terrible, I feel like it is terrible because I'm echoing. This Airbnb is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's so airy and echoey, like just walking through, I feel like I'm like so loud. Freaky says it's almost like you're in the same room as me. Have you got a very grey room with grey furnishings? I needed the pink. I needed to add the pink because everything is grey. The blankets are grey. All the cushions of tones of grey. The couch is grey. The carpet's grey. I'm just like, wow. Way to make it easy to clean. I don't know. But it's beautiful at the same time. Absolutely beautiful. Like, they've got this stunning artwork on another wall. And it is beautiful artwork, but tones are grey. It's all grey. You guys know how much I like grey. And it's probably a dash too grey for me. So I was like, okay. I went and got changed out of the grey t-shirt that I was wearing because, like, not wearing grey on a grey set. We all learn a different way. Hang on a second. There we go. We all learn a different way, and no, not loud. Oh, that's good. Freaky says, no, just good quality sound. My room's not grey. It's mostly white. So I think, I can't tell, but I think the walls are technically white, but all the reflections of everything grey is making the walls look grey in here. Because in the other rooms, they're a bit paler. In here, we've got grey carpet, which is why I'm streaming in here, trying to soften some of the noise bounce back. I nearly did it from my bedroom because it's got more carpet, you know, the bed and the soft furnishings and things like that. And it was a lot less echoey. But I was like, I don't feel comfortable streaming from my bedroom. I don't know what that means, Freaky. I'm definitely not putting it up on screen just in case it means something else, because it's you and it totally could. Oh, wow. I was sort of like, oh, do I really want to spindle? Because I'm going to be teaching spindling tomorrow. And it was just like, yeah, you know what? I do want to spindle. So obviously my brain is at the conference already doing conferencey things like crocheting and spindling and all that sort of stuff. When you attend, like, do you ever go to crochet conferences or yarn craft events or anything like that? Like before COVID, obviously. Did you attend any of those sorts of things yourself, or has it not been something you've tried before? Let me know in the chat. Oh, I need more fluff. I'm out of fluff. Oh, it's a Where's Wally reference. Okay, cool. And we've got Claire and Kim and I all staying here in the house. So it will be fun later and obviously a lot more noisier with more peoples. More fluff. There we go. Squish it on. Smush, smush. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a bit nervous about all this teaching I'm going to be doing. It's been a while since I've taught in person, not something like knitting. Oh, goodness me. I did not smush it on enough. Hang on. Pull that bit off. Oops. Here we go. There we go. Let's see if we can get some twist on there. It's good to get into the mind frame now so that you get over all the nerves and things. Yeah, thank you, Freaky. I do, like, unfortunately, it does mean I do have the nerves now, which means my hands are shaking, which means spindling's quite a lot trickier than I'm used to it being. I'm used to it being like a second nature thing. So, yeah. Now, I do know that you can book into the workshops now. Kelly's saying, I've gone to general shows before. Usually they don't have much for yarn crafters. Hopefully they'll have heaps of yarn for hookers and knitters to squish. Well, I mean, I've got a bit, and I know that there's another couple of dyers there, and there's a couple of yarn stores there, and lots of different people. So I'm hoping you find something to squish, Kelly. So, and, you know, it'll be nice to meet you as well. So if I'm not at the store when you go there, I'll be around. I've got a lot of workshops to teach and rooms to be in. Bendigo is on my wish list, hopefully next year. Oh, yes, Bendigo is a good one if you're in Australia. I'm hoping next year will be a lot better. I think this year is going to be a bit of a wash, just with the issues that they're having in Victoria at the moment. Is probably, even if they get it all sorted out in time for Bendigo, I think it's going to really affect people's confidence to travel. So, yeah, I think it might be a little bit of a wash this year. Oh, I may have not leaved myself enough. Stacey says, I've only been to Redlands Spinners and Weavers. Their open day is fantastic. Their open day is so good. And it's like a conference, but just, it's insane. They do like everything in 5 hours. And there's a crazy amount of like people and stalls, and it's a hustle and bustle. And I really love the Redlands Open Day. They're not running it this year. They decided earlier in the year they weren't going to risk it. And I think, you know, that's really big of them to make a call early like that. So Yarns by the Bay says, here we go again, as in a good way, here we go again, or I don't know. I don't know ways. Yeah. It's sad that it is none this year. Yeah, it is a bit sad that Redlands didn't have their event, but I also think that they have a lot of people who would have definitely been nervous about the travel, so they decided not to risk it. Also, I think their venue had set a lot of really stringent targets, and it made it hard for them, like as a really informal group, to abide by all the rules. So it was just a little bit easier for them to say, maybe not this year, but let's try for next year. Oh, Yarns by the Bay is saying lockdown in Melbourne again. Fair enough, fair enough. And yes, second week of lockdown in Melbourne has now started. Freaky Geek says, I've never been to any kind of craft again for public. One day I'll be brave enough. Yeah, and like it comes down to comfort. I did hear that some might do the virtual again as it went well last year. That's right. I know that for us here in Australia, the big wool show is running again in September. That was run in July last year on the weekend that Bendigo would usually have run, because Bendigo wasn't running and there wasn't really any sort of, they didn't really make, I'm just getting some fluff, they didn't really make any alternative arrangements. So really amazing person, Danielle Larson, jumped in and just went, I can set something up. And so she did. And we had all the fun and shenanigans that was the big wool show, which is the software that I used last year. It's been upgraded and stuff now, so it's a bit different. Oh, come on, Fluffy Bit. Why you do this? Game Widows, good morning. I'm not people's freak out in big crowds, Kerry says. Yeah, look, I get that, Kerry. I tend to, especially in events where there's a lot of people, I tend to make my stall like a with a moat. So I've got somewhere to retreat to, because I need to like physically back away from people sometimes, just for my own brain. The big wool show was great. And the Big Wool Show was a virtual event that they held last year. If you look at thebigwoolshow.com, their website's still there. Doesn't have much in it at the moment, bit of a reminder of what happened last year sort of thing. But it's just a virtual event, so it's only run online. And but the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show is held in Bendigo, or the Australian Wool Show, I should say, is held in Bendigo at the showgrounds there in Bendigo. It's amazing. Good morning, Jackie Doyle. How are you going today? Oh, I broke it myself, believe it or not. I knew the second I moved my hand like that, it was going to break. So I am a numpty, an official numpty. Now, I don't know how long the pink light's going to run for, because I may not have had time to give it a full charge this morning. So we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. Let me know when it goes out, and I can chuck a battery pack on it or something and see if we can't get it going again. You're here. You're here. That's so awesome. Oh, goodness me. Thank you, Jackie, for popping that link in. I appreciate that. There's no Sally today, I've noticed. I knew Kim wasn't coming, because, you know, hopefully she's on the road on her way to this physical location. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll see if I get a chance to do any quick runarounds to grab some footage at this event and make a little video for later. So that light it's a light that's pink, not the inside of the shade. Freaky, you know how at the shack, excuse me, I have the light that changes all the colors? Well, I rested that inside there. I took out their light bulb and I've just rested my physical battery light. It's just laying flat on top of the thing. Yeah, no, it's not the inside of the shade. It's the actual light. I could make it any color. Yeah, the one that I have on the back wall in the shack. So I just brought it with me because it's a cute light and it's only little and it's compact. It's called a aperture RGB WW light. So if you can Google it, they're quite small. It's like this big, and it's maybe half an inch thick. That way. I started spindling on this morning and I was joining onto something I'd already spun there and it kept breaking. I'm like, why do you keep breaking? And it's because I was spinning it in the wrong direction. So yeah, I'm trying to keep the spindle up, but it's hard because my arms get tired. Anyone want to supervise remote school? I've had enough already. Oh, I believe you. I believe you. I think that that Tim has had enough. So Tim's working from home because my Abby is on she's on exam block this week. So she only goes to school for her actual physical exams. And we don't live close enough to the school for her to get there to and from. And she'd have to stay there all day because the bus only runs at the end of the day. And the school's just like, oh, no, we're not recommending that at the moment. We've got no supervision for the older students. Yeah, so, but she's done all her exams now. And so she's just sitting at home. And we were a bit like, oh, look, you know, she's old enough to be by herself, but we weren't comfortable with leaving her on her own all day, every day for the rest of the week. So Tim's working from home for a few days. And he's just like, she makes it really hard to work. She comes over and talks to me. The game widows, Jackie Doyle saying to the game widows, I'm sure that your daughter is sick of it as well. Both game widows and I have daughters called Abby. I'm just winding on over to under one, over to under one. I don't get the pretty wind. Look, I try, but I'm not sure if that's going to focus for you because of the camera. Come on, can you do it? No, it can't. Anyway. So, am I the only person who, when you sleep in like odd accommodation, like not your house, I always have a bad first night's sleep, and it's just like, I'm so tired today because I tossed and turned all night. The bed was so comfy. The pillows are amazing. I think, how was I count? 2, 4, 6. There's actually 9 or 10 pillows on the bed. I actually had to make a pillow. Like basically, if I roll off the side of the bed, then I won't hurt myself because I've made a landing area with all the pillows because I only need one pillow. There's only my head. So, yeah. It's not always easy to get that nice, well-managed. Yeah, I agree with you there, Freaky. It isn't always, and it's just like, I just want to keep spinning. So do I want to take all that additional time to line up the perfect edges to get that super neat, you know, thing happening? Everyone does, yeah, everything is just weird on the first night. Yeah. And like we've worked out that there's like a possum or something in the roof, and there's actually a lot of road noise. Like, I don't know if you guys can hear the cars or not, but they don't stop. They're just like, brrr, 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 and it's all night. I thought it was loud in this area on the like main street, but yeah, here it's pretty loud too. And this, I think this must be some sort of arterial road that's a bit busy. So we're only about 400 meters from the beach. So, you know, it's definitely one of those. I've got a little nup. I want to get rid of that. It's just, a nup is just a little bit of knotted fluff. I don't like to keep them in my spinning if I notice them. If I don't notice them, I'm not like, oh my God, there's a thing. Oh. But if I notice it before I've spun it in, I'll try and get it out. Hey, Diana E. At least it's not rodent noise. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Tell you what, times like these, I definitely miss my studio. Like, everything's all set up. There we go. I just wanted to get a nice long spin in. So I've just dropped, because the floor is just here. So you're on vacation right now and you invited us. Well, I mean, I'm not really on vacation, am I? Like, if my husband's watching, it's definitely not a vacation. It's all work, nothing fun happening here. All work, all the time. Okay. How do you apply from the spindle? Okay, so this is a Turkish spindle. Let me just finish winding it on, because for some reason I just worked out that I can't count 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 while I explain. Okay, let me just put a little hitch on here. So, because I'm working on a Turkish spindle here, once I finish spindling, I can actually remove all of the arms and the shaft from it, and I have what we call a little turtle, and it sits on the ground, and you can just make a couple of turtles and just ply by spinning them together, but in the opposite direction of what you've been spindling them in. Freaky's like, well, you keep mentioning the beach. It's because I love the beach and I can smell it. Like, it's like, I don't even have to be able to see it. I'm like, I'm breathing easier. I've been here for one night and I've already needed less Ventolin than what I do at home. So I'm like so happy about that. It's just like, oh, it's so good to be able to breathe. I wonder if I could talk my husband into moving up here just because it's easier for me to breathe. I mean, probably can't, but, you know, I've just spotted the neighbours at the window. Like, I'll just lean back. Oh dear. What buddy's name who made the spindle? He showed you how he can ply. Oh yeah. So Scott Snyder was on our live stream last week. You can watch the replay. And he did a quick demonstration of ply on the fly. The catch with ply on the fly is you've got to start it at the start. Like this one here, I started just spindling, so it wasn't ply on the fly. Whereas my purple one and a couple of the others that I've got are ply on the fly. So I would be doing those, but I don't ply on the fly on camera, just because I like to stand up when I'm doing it. I'm not a big fan of sitting down while I ply on the fly. So yeah, worth a try, says Jackie. Yeah, it would seem like a good idea if you can breathe better. Yeah. The problem being seaside real estate is a lot more expensive than our real estate. Now I do have a ticket into a prize home up here. So if you guys can just cross your fingers so the universe can just let me just have that unit, so that while I may have to live down there to get my daughter to school and what have you, I could weekend up here. Oh, doesn't that sound posh? Oh, just weekend at the beach. Ew, I'm just off to our weekender. I've never had a weekender. That's why it's like sounds posh to me. It might not be that posh. I know friends who have like family homes where the family will share the weekender, and it's like, you know, and then sometimes for like celebrations they all turn up together and have to like have 25 people in a building that's really only suited for like 6, but that's part of the fun. Kim would have a hard time stalking her if she moves to the beach. I mean, I can still imagine Kim stalking on occasion. Speaking of Kim, she's not here today. No, Kim is on the highway on her way to physically, she's going to be staying in this house with me for the next week. I just kicked the little thing. So she is literally on her way here. Oops, spinning. Oh, I just keep spinning it and throwing it into my own stomach. That's not fun. Let's not do that anymore. Yeah, so Kim's going to be manning the stall up here, or womaning. I don't know. She's going to be managing the stall while I'm teaching and doing all the other things that I'll be doing up here at the conference. She'll be the boss. She's the boss of the stall this weekend. I'd just be like, yes, boss, and do all that kind of stuff. Ruth's late. Hi, Ruth. My mum's next door is a family weekender, but only use about once a month. They bring dogs. Look, I'm torn about the whole bringing your dogs to your weekender thing. I get it. I do. But, you know, I don't know. I probably would, you know, if I owned it and no one else stayed there, I would probably take my dog. So just to give everybody a bit of a reminder, I am currently sitting in the sitting room of a Airbnb up on the Sunshine Coast of Queensland. This afternoon, I'm bumping in my stall, and so we have to have a shorter stream today. We are only doing we're just doing 1 hour today, so we've only got another 25 minutes. What else would you do? Absolutely. A friend of Abby's has offered to dog sit for us whenever, because she wants Louis to hide in her pockets and take him home. She'll love him. And he also gives her big licks, so she just thinks that's the best. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Hey, John, welcome to the chat. I'm working with the soldering iron and a microstop. I'm here, though. Awesome. Yeah, look, my little dog, he doesn't bark too much. He only barks if someone touches the gate. We've worked out. And it's some like, oh, it was so funny. So we've got a massive big glass sliding door, and I normally go out that glass sliding door to go into the shack. And I'd been working really late, like midnight, sort of for the last few nights before coming, just to make sure I had everything all done and ready. And I'd sort of come back into the house. I was coming and going, like dropping things off and grabbing coffee and things like that. So I've come back in the house at like 9 o'clock. Louis has seen me at the door, barked, freaked out, and ran away down the hallway. So I was just like, oh, well, he's going to be a good guard dog. I mean, at least he barked first, I suppose, but then bolted. But I was like, oh, Tim, I scared the life out of the dog. Game Widow says my aunt and uncle have an apartment up there somewhere. Oh, there you go. See, a few people have weekenders or holiday homes. I didn't know I didn't realize it was like an actual thing, like people did. I thought it was something people aspired to or dreamed of. Like I look at, you watch all those American like Hallmark movies, so like that's absolutely a slice of America right there, isn't it? And they've all got like their weekend homes on the lake and stuff like that. There's dogs next door. I see their tails. They're happy dogs. They're big dogs, but they're happy. So I don't really know what to talk about today, guys. I feel very unprepared. I got a bit frazzled this morning when I realized I didn't have a microphone. So I was just like, what do I do? What do I do? And I was trying all these different things and nothing was working very well. So I was like, okay, well, we've got 2 options here. Well, technically 3. They like to escape Victoria's winter. I don't blame them. Although it is nice to be legit cold every now and again. We don't really get that up here. We get cool. John says, growing up, I had a weekend house in the country, my dad's house. Okay. I mean, that could technically work, couldn't it? Over 2. What am I doing? 2, Chantel, and under 1, and over 2. I won't be showing any photos of this turtle, I can tell you. One option is to open a window and yell real loud. I mean, I'm sure my voice would run out a lot faster than it usually does. Hey, Bob, is your internet crazy? Oh, gosh. That's a thing. That's a big thing in Australia. A lot of people have caravans or like camper vans or things like that. Personally, like I like the idea of it, and I like the idea of staying in one. I don't like the idea of towing one or driving one. They do stress me out a bit. I'm not the biggest fan of towing. I find it very nerve-wracking. Not so much going forward. going backwards when I'm towing. I can do it, but I'm not comfortable doing it. Kerry's off to work. Have a great day, Kerry, and we will certainly try to have fun at the conference. It's my goal. That's my definite conference goal this year, is to have fun. Bloop. There we go. You know when you got your fluffy bit in your hand starting to get a bit compressed because you've been squishing it so hard? Well, that's where I'm at. Come on, fluffy bits. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm building the twister, and then so that I can have everything on camera at once, I'm just sort of holding it there, bringing that up, and then letting the twist into the yarn. But before it sort of, the twist gets too weak, I have to let the twist travel. If that makes sense at all? Oh dear. So what are you all working on? So John's soldering and doing stuff, and Kerry's off to work, and Bob's battling the demons that are the Australian internet. What are the rest of you are working on? Or even, you know, you guys with the more details. Yeah, it is. It's like a long draw. Yeah. But around a corner, if that makes sense. Time for more fluff. Like, I'll get out of my coffee. Jeez. The end of the braid just went into my coffee cup, except it didn't quite hit the coffee. So thank goodness for that. Beggars can't be choosers when you realize you bought the wrong coffee like an idiot. I just didn't even look. It was just like, it was the big box. There was no big boxes in the other flavors. That's what it was. I wanted a big box of coffee. So all the other big boxes probably sold out. No one wanted the big box of the decaf. And that's why it was still there. Oh. Is it possible? Oh, wait a second. Let me just click some things here. Clicking. So Stacey is trying to cast on a beanie but keep twisting my first round. An option, because I have the same problem. What I like to do is actually cast on, and then rather than join, knit the first row or purl the first row, whatever you need to do, purl the first row back and then join on. And then when I'm weaving in the ends, I'll do a fake weave in and join the two originals on. And that way I don't have to worry about making sure the circle doesn't loop, and I don't have to cast on 900,000 times because for some reason I can't join in the round without twisting it. But that might work for you. Ruth is finishing up the front of the pattern I'm testing. Oh, that's awesome, Ruth. And John is making digital clock for the kids. They're always asking what time it is. Now, John, I'm not sure if you know, but you possibly could have bought a digital clock, or are you just repairing one, or are you building one? I need more information, John. Is it possible to spin yarn and then just use it, or do you have to ply it? Okay, so you can absolutely spin a single, which is what we call it, and just use it. But you can't, I'm not going to say can't. It's not recommended that you spin a single and use it that you were intending to ply, if that makes any sense. Now, the reason for that is, I'm just going to hitch this off and put it down. The reason that you don't spin and you don't use just a ply that you were going to ply with and use it as a single is because when you spin to ply, you add more energy into the yarn so that it can untwist into each other to create the locking thing that it makes plying awesome. So if you're going to spin a single to use as a single, you actually need to spin it with a little less twist. Otherwise, when you go to use it, it's going to be doing the kinky curly tail thing that's going to drive you insane. So what you need to do is you spin it with just a little less twist. You still want it to hold together. And then when you rinse it, give it a little bash against the edge of your bathtub and just lightly full it, just a little, and it'll give it a little bit more strength. So you don't want to like beat it to death, but if you just like, you've got your skein, it's wet, and you just whack it into the side of the bathtub like 2 or 3 times. That's all you need to do. Just enough to make it like grab onto its neighbors. So that might help as well. Just reading some more comments here. Hang on. Holly is crocheting face scrubbies that are going into the gift box for my book club in 3 weeks. That sounds awesome. Big truck out the front. Well done. More info from John. I have a clock with hands they haven't figured out yet, so this is digital. I get that, but why are you making a digital clock? Like, you couldn't just buy one? Like, yeah. What brand of coffee comes in a box? That would be Robert Tim's coffee bags. When I travel, I actually don't like instant coffee. And so I get the Robert Tim's coffee bags because it's kind of like it's not instant, but it kind of is, but it tastes like it's not. And so, yeah, it comes in like these little, it comes in a box, like a little tea bag box. And inside the little bags, which are different fiber and everything, like they don't squish like normal tea bags or anything. But it's a little bag of ground coffee that you steep in your hot water, kind of like you're making drip coffee nearly. It's like a instant is here and beautiful espresso is here. The coffee bag is kind of here. It's just above the instant, but it's not. Anyway, it's because I'm fussy. Oh, hang on. Where we go? Usually they are jars. Yeah, they are usually in jars. Go away, AVG. I'm busy right now. Can't you see? Stacey says, I also can't count stitches. Yeah, I'm with that. So John's just building one from a circuit board and the electronic bits that he happens to have. Awesome. Awesome. Game Widows is fulling some hats this afternoon. Awesome. You've got filling, but then, fulling. So cool. You guys are doing some amazing things. Well, I could just ask you why you're spinning yarn when you could just, touche, John. Okay, I get it. It's because you enjoy it and you want to make it. It's not because yeah, awesome. Oh dear. Last bits of the coffee in my cup are getting cold. Pull. Every time I'm like, because I always remind myself whether I'm pulling or pushing, but every time I say pull, I think of like those clay shooters. And it's just like pull. Oh, come on, lumpy bit. What are you doing? Stop that. You are not welcome. Off you go. Thank you. Yes, John, I feel rightly chastised. Okay. So we've only got a few more minutes left of stream today. Does anybody have any questions? I may not be able to answer them, but I can certainly try. That was my job once upon a time, loading and releasing the clay pigeon traps. Wow. Is it fun? Like, it sounds like it could possibly be fun. I'm not a big shooter, but I'd much rather people shoot clay traps than anything else. Just keeping an eye on the chat while I'm doing this. Gosh, there's so much noise here. I'm so used to it being so much quieter. Okay, Tim, if you buy us a house near the beach so I can breathe, we need to be on a quiet side street somewhere. Is cold. What do you mean it's cold? It's a fun trying to shoot the clay pigeons. I have a lot of hobbies. Look, I think if people went through all their things that they do on a day-to-day basis, they would realize they have lots of hobbies too. I have lots of hobbies. Funnily enough, it's fun trying to shoot the clay pigeons. I think I've only ever really shot a gun once in my life. Yeah. Sitting out in the cold and rain, waiting for the buzzer to load and release. Well, I'd probably be all like, dudes, I'm not sitting in the cold and the rain. You can get stuffed. But I suppose if you're the kid and you're being told that's your job, you kind of just do it, right? Oh, what have I done there? Oh, hang on. Everything went wrong. I was twisting the wrong way. Because I don't normally spin clockwise. I normally spin anti-clockwise. Have you ever dyed the yarn you spun? Yes, I have. That's why I like to spin a lot of undyed as well, because then I actually prefer dyeing yarn than dyeing fibre. So I buy dyed fibre from other dyers and stuff like that, but I don't enjoy dyeing fibre. I find the process quite stressful. So I spin natural like this, and then I dye the yarn. It's not really any different than usual. Maybe a little more wary because it's more likely to felt. Because a lot of the commercial yarns I get a sort of superwash, so they don't really felt in the pans, whereas this will. Hang on a second. I've just got to scroll so I can see. Have we seen this during one of the lives? Me dyeing my own hand dyes? I don't think we have. Maybe we should one day. Maybe I need to set up a dye stream again and do a dye over a hand spun. Yeah, I think it's going to rain here today. I hope your weather is nice for you up the coast. No, it's getting quite dark. We're getting a lot of clouds coming in. According to BOM last night, it was 60% chance of rain here today. But then the rest of the week was only like 20% maximum. So I haven't checked this morning. I could check right now. Now that it's in my brain, I should check it. Checking. Go away, you. There we go. All right, where are we? There we go. It's taking a little second because my phone is what's running our live stream today. We are at about the 50% chance of rain now. Tomorrow is a 30% chance, and the rest of the weekend is 5%. So, you know, there might be some. We've got a 70% chance of any rain and a 50% chance of heavier rain. So we'll see. We'll see. Where I've got to unload all the cars, where I've got to unload the car is undercover, so that is good. Yes, so we'll see. It was gloomy enough here for rain, but nothing yet. We are having a market on Sunday, so I hope it clears up. I hope so too. Hey, Gabby Rodriguez, you're lurking because you're driving home. Well, drive carefully. Would be nice to watch you spin 1 week or two and then later dye the spun wool that you've got. That's actually an excellent idea, Freaky, and I think you're right, because I do spindle a lot, but I don't show you guys when I dye it because I kind of just throw it in a pot and just do it. I'm just going to keep stepping on a thing, so I'm just moving it out of the way. Yeah, no, that's a great idea, and I think that's something that we'll definitely be looking at doing sort of after Bendigo, because I don't want to set up any dye streams before then, just because they are a little tiring to set up. But yeah, definitely we'll definitely do that. Lockdown and it's sunny, 17 degrees. Typical. Well, it is overcast and gloomy, but it's still 19. So, what was really funny, right, is yesterday afternoon, Claire's turned up and she was rugged up something fierce. I'm like, are you cold? And she was like, no, I'm melting. It was freezing when she left home. So good thing I added when you got time. Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, I would have just been hard no. If you want that today, can't do it. Soz. Second biggest cookout weekend of the year here in the States. This weekend we got 3 inches of rain. Well, that might keep some of you guys at home. Our 3rd lockdown was lifted today, but we are asked to keep acting like it's not been lifted. What? So what they're saying is the official lockdown's over now for the unofficial lockdown. Oh gosh, that's a bit bizarre. I just think that, like, it's probably the wording is bad, but they probably just want everyone to be a bit cautious, because what happens around here, you go like, oh yeah, you've had your lockdown, and then it's not lockdown and everyone just runs to the beach and mingles with 1 million people, and then, you know, shock and horror, something happens. Okay, we're down to our last 2 minutes, everybody. What should we do for our last 2 minutes? Game Widow says, like, when I came up for the retreat, 4 a.m. was freezing in Melbourne, but it was pleasantly warm when I arrived in Queensland. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure what time Claire's flight left where she was, but she arrived here in Maroochydore, because she flew into Maroochydore at like, I don't know, 12 o'clock or something. That's true. We've been asked for such a long time to do something and not everyone does it, so things last longer. Yeah, and it's, you know, and that's the sad thing. It's normally like a couple of people who are just like, you know, they're above the rules, or, you know, something's not going to affect them. And then everything sort of goes to poop, and they're the ones that complain the loudest. But if they had just done the right thing in the first place, then it wouldn't have happened. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to spindle until I finish this piece of fluff. Game Widows, you got to see some good folks and have a great time. Yeah, like, retreat was so much fun, and we're planning another one for September next year. So hopefully, you know, that can all go ahead. And it is limited numbers where we are, and we could probably have a few more people if we were able to add, like, you know, we tried to keep it so there was only 2 people to a room, except for there was one room that had like heaps of beds, so we put 3 in that one, but all the other rooms only had 2 people to a room. So that really limits our numbers if we do that, whereas most of the rooms can take 3. Well, most of the rooms have 3 beds. I mean, technically they could take more people because the beds are double beds and stuff, but you know, if we put 3 in a room, then that would help. But I also like the 2 in a room thing, because it gives everyone a little bit of downtime and sort of a bit of privacy. Okay. Yeah, Abby is out of her cast. She's been out for a while now. She's back to work and back to school, and she's actually finished her time up of. So because of the injury she'd done on her wrist, once she was out of her or cast or brace or whatever it was, she keeps correcting me. It wasn't a cast, Mom. I'm like, don't care. You weren't allowed to take it off except for in the shower. Once she was out of that, she had to have another 8 weeks where she couldn't do any contact sport. So she's only just finished that. So she is now back into the first day back at school where she didn't have to, where she was allowed to do PE again. She played ultimate frisbee. So it's just like, oh, okay, righto. She was so excited. Oh, Mom, it was the best day. Anyway, my friends, it is 11 o'clock here in Queensland on the Sunshine Coast, and that means it's time for me to go and start packing up everything and getting ready to go and set up my stall. If you are coming to the Crochet Guild event, make sure you come and say hi, or hunt me down or find me or whatever. If you're not, I'm sorry that you don't get to come and have fun, shenanigan times with us, but not much I can do. But if you are in Queensland and you're in the southeast corner and you're within a travelable distance, tickets are available at the door, and you can still book into workshops. I can tell you my workshops are not booked out. So if you want to book into one of my workshops, you absolutely can. And I will see you this weekend, those of you that are coming. Otherwise, I'll see the rest of you here next week, next Thursday, back in the studio with the normal audio and the normal lights and all the normal things except for me, because I'm not normal. So have a great week. Look after yourselves, care for your families, eat chocolate if chocolate doesn't kill you, and I'll catch us next time. Be good. Bye.